Ho'omākaukau.
Can I have your attention, please, class? Thank you very much. Okay, I want to go over what our assignment is. Today, you'll be writing a narrative story about a famous person of your choice. You get to choose who you're going to write about in history, who has made a difference in the lives of people. Okay, so it has to be a famous person, okay, who made a difference in the lives of people. And then remember, you have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Also have supporting details for, have supporting detailed sentences, have at least 3 paragraphs, and each paragraph should have how many sentences?
5 to 7 sentences.
Excellent. Don't forget to add your voice. You want to make it interesting. Check your spelling, check your grammar, reread your work before you turn it in. Are there any questions? Okay, great. Give me thumbs up when you're ready. Okay, I love it. Okay, you may begin now.
Do you know who you will write about?
Yes, I know exactly who I'm going to be writing about. I'm going to share the same story that my aunt has shared with me.
Before time,
Before space,
before all things came to be, there was Po, the cosmic night. From Botnus came heat, moving and growing, causing the sun to burst forth. The sky turned over, and the moon became lit, and the primeval eyes of Makali'i peered down upon the shapeless masses. Kumulipo was born in the night, a male, and Po'ele, a female. Growing things, moving things, creatures of land and sea, all of them formed in perfect balance. Everything Pono. Behold Kumulipo, the birth of the universe.
Okeo wika huli
Vela kahorua, okea wika huli lole kalani, okea wika iaka kala, eho o malama lama ika malama, okea o makali ika po, o ka wale wale ho o kumu holua. O ke kumu o ka lipo I lipo ai. O ke kumu o ka po I lipo ai.
The only niece of the king was received with great love into the family, and with a burst of rejoicing throughout Hawaiʻi. The royal family she was born into came from a family of poets and historians, those who kept by memory the events and genealogies of our ancestors. It was during her childhood that Princess Kaʻiulani first heard the words of the Kumulipo. And like her uncle, King Kalakaua, and her aunt, Queen Liliuokalani, it was the hope that she would also reveal its mysterious and profound beauty to the entire world.
O ka lipo lipo, o ka lipo lipo, o ka lipo ka la, o ka lipo ka po. Po wale hoi hanau ka po, hanau kumulipo I ka po he kane, hanau po ele I ka po he wahine, hanau kumulipo I ka po he kane, hanau po ele I ka po he wahine.
The ʻŌlaʻa were dying out. The mighty line of chiefs and chiefesses that had ruled for centuries was drawing to an end. Princess Kaʻiulani was the Hawaiian monarchy's last hope, undermined by foreign influences creeping swiftly into the islands. On the head of this fragile blossom rested the promise of continuity for the Hawaiian throne. The Hawaiian people look to Princess Kaʻiulani for their future. When her father, Archie Cleghorn, married Princess Likelike, he already had 3 daughters, Helen, Rose, and Annie. The sisters were very close to Kaʻiulani, but Annie was the closest of these 3 to their royal half-sister. Annie was the only one that would follow Princess Kaʻiulani when she eventually moved to England.
Mauna ke a kila kila ke ua ka ui Luhi e hu ka makua o kulani Poli ahu ka wahine ka pahau anu Pumehana ka wahine e apo mai Mauna ke a kila kila ke ua ka ui Luhi e hu ka makua o kulani Poli ahu ka wahine ka pahau anu Pumehana ka wahine e apo mai Mai ke kua hiwi I ka moena hau Po ai na hale a puni ka makua Ua kani a uina a mauna ia He ano I ponono e pula mamau Mai ke kua hiwi I ka moena hau Po ai na hale a puni ka makua Ua kani a uina a mauna ia He ano I ponono e pula mamau Mai poli ahu no honani mai Poli ahu ka makua o kulani Mauna ke a kila kila ke ua ka ui Luhi e hu ka makua o kuʻulani E o mai poli ahu no honani mai Poli ahu ka makua o kuʻulani Mauna ke a kila kila ke ua ka ui Luhi e hu ka makua o kuʻulani Luhi e hu ka makua o kuʻulani
At the age of 3, Princess Kaʻiulani and her family moved permanently to an estate they had built on the land which her mother Likelike had named Ainahau, the cool place, because of the refreshing winds that came down from the Manoa Valley. Their beautiful estate was surrounded by gardens of beautiful trees, plants, and flowers from her father, Archie Cleghorn. For Kaʻiulani, Ainahau was a little girl's paradise, with fish ponds of giant tortoises, her snow-white pony named Fairy, and her proudly strutted pet peacocks that she enjoyed so much. Princess Kaʻiulani had a happy childhood, saddened only by her mother's death when Kaʻiulani was 11 years old. Kalakaua, knowing that the monarchy rested on the ability of future kings and queens to match wits with well-educated foreigners, announced that Kaʻiulani would be sent abroad to England to continue her education.
I, Kalakaua, King of the Hawaiian Islands, do hereby give my consent and approval for my niece, Her Royal Highness Princess Victoria Kaʻiulani, to leave the Hawaiian Kingdom and proceed to England on or about the month of May 1889, in charge of and under the care and control of Miss Thomas Rain Walker, and to be accompanied by Miss Anne Cleghorn, the princess to travel entirely incognito and be known as Miss Kaʻiulani.
Thus, Kaʻiulani began her schooling in England, and through her beginning years in England, she was so thankful that her close sister Annie was by her side, especially when she felt very homesick or when things began to be dark for her at moments.
Are you okay, sister?
Papa Moi just passed away in San Francisco.
Annie left after a year of their arrival in England. Though Kaʻiulani took it hard that Annie was leaving, little did she know that their embrace before she left would be their last. King Kalakaua died in January 1891, and his sister Liliuokalani ascended the throne. Her niece, 15-year-old Princess Kaʻiulani, was named heir apparent. But that came to a pause when on January 30th, 1893, Kaʻiulani received the most shocking news of her life.
I'm so sorry, Princess. I'm so sorry. I should have given you these telegrams earlier.
The first telegram read, Queen deposed. The second, Monarch abrogated. The third, break news to Princess. The news devastated the princess. Her world was beginning to
Princess.
crumble.
Princess. Oh, Princess.
O ko aloha no, ai ai ka lani, a o ko ai ai o e molele hoi, ko no mi ana. Mai nana ino ino na hewa o kanaka aka e mui kala ama e no laila e kahaku malalo ko e ko maluia a mauloa aku no
Her guardian, Mr. Theo Davies, felt the fight was not yet lost. Mr. Davies suggested that Kaʻiulani make an immediate trip to Washington to plead her nation's case to the newly elected president, Grover Cleveland. At first, Kaʻiulani could not find the courage to do such a task. But then she thought of her sisters, Annie, Helen, Rosie, and their children. She thought of Koa, Kuhio, and all her Hawaiian friends. She remembered the proud heritage of her people.
I hear that commissioners from my land have been, for many days, asking this great nation to take away my little vineyard, leave me without a home, or a name, or a nation. Today, I, a poor wheat girl, with not one of my people near me and all of these statesmen against me, have the strength to stand up for the rights of my people. Even now I can hear their wailing in my heart, and it gives me strength, and I am strong. Strong in the faith of God, strong in the knowledge that I am right, strong in the strength of 70 million people who in this free land will hear my cry and will refuse to let their flag cover dishonor to mine.
Kaʻiulani's life in England and absence from her homeland in what she termed her exile stretched into 8 long years. Efforts in Hawaii to restore the throne started to fade. The U.S. war in the Pacific had brought into sharp focus the military importance of the Hawaiian Islands. Therefore, annexation of Hawaii to the United States became imminent. In March of 1897, Princess Kaʻiulani got another shocking news she never expected. Annie, her closest half-sister and best friend, died suddenly at age 29. At this point, Kaʻiulani felt it was time for her to return home. She felt the need to go back home immediately because it felt like there would be fewer and fewer of her loved ones to greet her if she doesn't return home soon.
That's it. I'm going home.
But Princess,
No, that's it. I'm going home.
When Kaʻiulani returned to her home in Hawaiʻi, it was sunny and clear. From afar, the islands looked just as Kaʻiulani remembered them. Their lush greenery risen from the warm, briny waves to greet her. Kaʻiulani's eyes brightened at the sight of the majestic mountains rising behind Honolulu. Friends and family swarmed aboard the ship to greet their princess. As mothers and fathers brought their children to get a look at the princess, Kaʻiulani realized with shock that none of these keiki had ever been born when she had left 8.5 years ago. To them, she had been nothing but a story. The first stop for Kaʻiulani when she arrived home was to go to the royal mausoleum in Nu'uanu, where her mother was buried.
Mama, I'm home. I'm home, Mama.
Ahele aku ho'iwa I ini au ia oe noho I nā a ole ua hiki no E hi'i poi mauno au ia oe Aloha mauno au ia oe Ahele aku ho'iwa
Princess Kaʻiulani attended a grand concert at the Opera House in Honolulu. As the lights dimmed, the featured singers of the evening bowed deeply to Kaʻiulani and sang a new song by Charles King in Hawaiian. Its title was Lei No Kaʻiulani, a wreath for Princess Kaʻiulani. Members of the so-called Republican government, most of whom had never taken the time to become fluent in Hawaiian, thought it was a sweet tribute in song. Those who understood the lyrics, however, knew that in the most public of places, the singers were crowning their queen. The annexationists got their way at last. Annexation Day, long dreaded by the Hawaiians, dawned on August 12, 1898. The ceremony was to take place despite the protest of most of Hawaii's population. Queen Liliuokalani and Princess Kaʻiulani had received invitations to attend the annexation ceremony, but they politely declined. Instead, they spent the day surrounded by loyal friends and royalists at the Queen's own private residence. During the event, frequent showers of rain swept over the crowd. Hawaii was a nation no more. The burning torch of a nation went out forever. Hawaii Pono'i was being played as the Hawaiian flag was lowered for the last time. Before it ended, the native musicians threw down their instruments and ran away around the corner of the palace to weep in private. After annexation, Kaʻiulani looked for any excuse to get out of Honolulu, as conditions were unbearable under the new regime. She often went off alone to get away from it all.
Na ke ali o pio. Ke a kōkō mai na ua o ha'ao. Beware, young ali'i, rain clouds gather overhead.
Kaʻiulani often felt She belonged to two worlds. But in that instant, she knew which one had the power to claim her whenever it wanted. Kaʻiulani's health began to take a turn for the worst. Her doctor diagnosed her as suffering from inflammatory rheumatism. Her illness was reported in the January 24th Honolulu papers. By the end of February, the doctors were increasingly worried about her condition. Still, they felt she had a fair chance of recovery. But just after midnight on March 6th, the princess turned for the worse. Her breathing began to be very unsteady. Then, at 2 a.m., Kaʻiulani moved convulsively and cried out, "Aha!" Suddenly, the room was very still. Kaʻiulani was gone.
Hawaiʻi Kaʻiulani.
On March 6, 1899, Princess Kaʻiulani died at 23. She lay in state at Ainahau, surrounded by dozens of orchids and white orange blossoms. Kaʻiulani was laid to rest beside her mother at the Royal Mausoleum in Nu'uanu. The overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy was also a spiritual overthrow for our people.
Yet despite Kaʻiulani's passing, her legacy of the spirit of aloha is very much alive. To this day, a tangible, unique feeling of love and acceptance thrives in the islands of Hawaii. Therefore we, the next generation, will carry on her legacy as all Hawaii shall stand together. For it is now and forever to raise our voices and hold our banners high. For we shall stand as a nation to guide the destiny of our generation, to sing and praise the glory of our land.
Hawaiʻi loa, kuliki kako, kupaʻame, kaloha ie, kukalame, kamilole. Oni paʻa kako, alana kilana kiki e ola na kiki e. From the fiery pit of Tutupele, I hear my mother's call. Oh, Tutukane, Mauna Kea, send their love to all.